We're off and running on another edition of Inside EKU Sports. I say that because we talk track and field to begin with the coach of the men's and women's teams at Eastern Kentucky in Cory Erdmann. Cory, everything pointing towards the OVC championships, the NCAA preliminary East region, trying to get those qualifying times, and it looks like you have a lot of spots on your two rosters where you're on the way to potentially making those meets.
Yeah, I think that's exactly correct. We are in a good spot. We have a lot of good young student athletes in particular. We've already had one that is likely a qualifier in Pedro Garcia Palencia in the steeplechase. He ran 8:54 at the Raleigh Relays. We have 4 or 5 other student athletes who have very good opportunities and very good chances at the NCAA preliminaries.
Up at the UC track and field event the other day, your women went 1, 2, 3 in the 3K, and then also in the 1500 you went 1, 2, so some good middle distance runners.
Absolutely. Laura Taborda and Lou Traw in particular are in really good shape. They look to be on track to have a shot at the NCAA preliminaries. Lou in the 1500, Laura probably in the steeplechase as opposed to 1500, but she's capable probably in each event. So they got off to a good start, and some others got off to a good start. Saskia Pingpank in the steeplechase, they really ran very well in Nuke Van Gils. So we were very excited about it. It was great performances across the board for them.
Probably really tough to qualify in the sprints when you get to the NCAA level, but you've had some good results, and does that bode well for racking up some points in the sprints in the OVC event?
It does, and actually we have a couple of young ladies in the sprints events who have an opportunity to qualify in Quantasia Perry and Kayla Smith. It's difficult this year because they've cut it in NCAA preliminaries have been cut down from 48 spots to 32. We're one of the sports that for some reason with COVID, the NCAA has decided to limit the number of student athletes going to the outdoor track and field championship. That makes it more challenging. But both of those two young ladies have an opportunity if on the right day they can get out and run a good race. They can both make it potentially in the 100 and or 200.
There has not been a track and field meet hosted by Eastern Kentucky University in 9 years. That is about to change later this month. Named after your father, Rick Erdmann Twilight Classic. Good to have track and field back here in Richmond. I remember going over and watching a meet way back. It's been a long time.
Yeah, we're extremely excited. We have a brand new facility that we get to show off in terms of the track itself. We're working very hard to sort of make it a good event. We have right now, it looks like about 20 teams are going to send representatives from as far away as Boston. And it's good. It's shaping up to really be a very good meet, particularly in some of the distance events. So we're really, really excited and we're really, really looking forward to it and hope that we can turn it into something that's very special and then continues to be special year after year.
That, by the way, is on April 16th, a Friday, and then April 17th, a Saturday, limited seating because of the COVID pandemic rules. The OVC Outdoor Championships in mid-May on May 13th through the 15th. But it's an individual sport except for when you get to conference, and then it becomes a team sport. So how do you balance the two, getting qualifying times and then trying to rack up enough points to be competitive in a team championship event?
Well, most of our student athletes understand what the goals are and that we were wanting to run well at the conference and also give them an opportunity individually to try to have success at the NCAA level. So it's really not that difficult. They all understand it. Everyone has their role to play. Some of them are here to try to make the NCAA championship. Some of them are here to get as many points as possible in the OVC. And so I don't think it's really that complicated for us. We've got a bunch of good young men and women who want to have success every time they go out. So we just sort of have to target the training towards those particular events, and then they tend to respond very well. But we're hopeful we'll be competitive in the OVC, obviously in the outdoor track as we always are. on both the men's and women's side. And as you mentioned earlier, our women's sprints group is actually probably better than it's been in about 21, 22 years. So we expect to gather many more points there than we have in recent history. And then on the men's side, continue to sort of do what we've been doing the last few years.
Cory, thanks for the update on track and field. Good luck, especially at the event here in Richmond. Excited to see it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, and we're excited to see it too.
All right, that's Cory Erdmann with the track and field program. When we come back, we turn our attention to softball. That's next here on Inside EKU Sports.
Hey, that comes to $1.45.
I'm sorry?
Oh yeah, for the cookie. The books are free.
For everybody?
For all undergraduate students. We call it EKU Book Smart.
Let's make that 2 cookies.
On campus, online, delivery, or pickup at EKU. The books are on us.
We talk softball now with Tori Peterson, one of the pitchers in the circle for the Colonels, and Tori for the team in second place currently, tied for most wins with Southeast Missouri in the conference. And you know that only 4 teams are going to make the tournament. You're in good shape now, but there's a lot of work still to do, isn't there?
Yeah, there's still a lot of season left and stuff like that, but I think we're really starting to hit our stride. So hopefully we have a good season ahead of us.
When did you had such a good record, just 2 losses before the plug was pulled last year due to the pandemic. How long did it take the team and you personally to re-find your stride of playing a normal softball season?
Well, it was quite a while after our last game. We went quite a few months without playing and without having fall ball or really a season before conference started. It kind of took a couple games to get going for sure.
So you're from Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, up near Vancouver. You do get home a couple of times, but it's a challenge for you to go across the border, quarantine and all that type of thing. How have you handled those hurdles?
It's definitely different. It's a little tough to come home, especially from playing and working out all the time, to being confined to a basement suite for about 2-3 weeks and then trying to get back into the swing of things. But I've been lucky to have good trainers and coaches and stuff like that work with me to keep my plans and keep me in shape and stuff like that.
You are 10-2 on the year. You have your lowest ERA of the 4 seasons you've pitched for EKU at 2.26, 8th best in the OVC. Your wins are 2nd best. Why do you think you're a better pitcher now? I assume you do, than your first 3 years. Where have you improved?
I think in confidence and really believing in myself that I can do that. I think that definitely comes with age. So now being one of the seniors on the team and stuff like that, this being my last season, I just want to leave it all out in the field.
The fact that pitchers are different. Some pitchers use the strikeout. Some pitchers, it seems like you have a pitch that lends to the ground ball. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so you have to have a good team behind you, and it seems like your team has fielded well for you. And the thing that impresses me is how you field the circle.
Thank you. Yeah,
I mean, that's tough. That ball's coming at you, right?
Yeah. No, it comes out the bat quite quickly. But I really love having like the great defense behind me and stuff like that. I trust all my fielders. I know they're going to make the plays. With my drop ball, I do get lots of ground balls and stuff like that, but I'm never unsure about them, and I always feel confident having them behind me.
And you have another good pitcher in Molly Pollock that has a great ERA. Molly, I know, trying to keep her fresh because she's had some shoulder problems, but a nice 1-2 punch with a couple other pitchers behind you two.
Yeah, no, I love having Molly, and especially since she's a faster rise ball pitcher. It's like it really keeps the batters off balance when they alternate between me and her. Since I'm a little slower in the drop ball, it takes them a little while to adjust to us.
When you were growing up in high school, did you play other sports? I mean, you got beautiful mountains out there, snow ski, anything like that?
I definitely skied. Yeah, me and my family would definitely hit the mountains quite often because I'm tall. Played basketball and volleyball just because of the height.
Why'd you choose Eastern Kentucky? It's a long way from home.
Honestly, it found me out of the blue, kind of. Coach asked me to come to a camp here. She saw me and I guess liked what she saw. I toured the campus and it was done from there. I just knew I had to be at Eastern.
Your second home, obviously. How do you like Richmond?
I love it. Yeah. It's a small town feel, which is really comfortable for me, being from outside of a big city and stuff like that. And definitely just like my friends and teammates and stuff like that just makes it feel like home.
When you go down the stretch in the OVC, I counted up, you have 6 series left, a shorter one with Morehead State and then 5 others. And you can't put all the marbles on the Southeast Missouri 3 games over the weekend in Cape Girardeau. That's in mid-April, but you've got to take care of business in other series as well. What does Coach Jane Worthington talk to the team about how to handle this marathon of a season?
Well, it's just to take one game at a time and don't underestimate any team, because everyone, as they've proven, I don't think anyone's undefeated anymore, and people lose to each other all the time and stuff like that. So you never know. You don't want to underestimate a team and then go in thinking you're going to win, because you never know. You really got to play each game to your best ability.
How many innings do you think you could pitch without wearing your arm out in a weekend series? That would be 21 innings for the team. How many are you good for?
Well, I think for a couple weekends here, I've done about 14, probably around there, a little bit more or less. I'm good for whatever coach needs me for, honestly.
Do you like to start more, or is it okay to come into a game into the circle that way?
I've done a bit of both. Starting is always exciting because you just really get to set the tone of the game and stuff like that. But always coming in clutch in the middle of a tough inning or something like that is also very exciting. So honestly, like wherever coach needs me, I'll be ready.
You've had 5 complete games this year. One of them your favorite?
I really like the ones we play at home, and whenever we get to play in front of our fans and stuff like that, it's very exciting to just be around the friends and family and stuff like that. I do like finishing games. I think Jack State was always really interesting and stuff like that because they're quite a rival. So winning against them was really fun.
You are a health sciences major off the diamond. What's your plan in the future?
Once I graduate here this semester, I'll be heading home to Canada and applying to PT schools there, hoping to be in physiotherapy.
Sounds good. Well, good luck the rest of the season to you and the rest of the Colonels. It's going to be a long grind, but it looks like you're in good shape to make the OVC tournament.
Yes, hopefully.
All right, that's Tori Peterson with the softball team. Here's what's ahead for the Colonels. They have a doubleheader on Saturday against Tennessee State at 1 and 3, and then a single game on Sunday at 1. Also, don't forget the Kentucky Wildcats are in on Wednesday to Richmond to take on the Colonels. That game on April 14th. When we come back, we'll check in on the EKU soccer team that has just completed its spring season next here on Inside EKU Sports. The EKU soccer season has come to a close, a rare spring season of conference-only games, and the head coach of the Colonels, Matt Cosinuke, joins us now in the show. Matt, you had your ups, you had your downs. As you assess what happened here in the spring season, what did you like about your team?
Well, I certainly liked our ability to score, right? I think reflecting from our previous fall of 19, I think one of the areas of growth that we really needed to focus on was being able to put the ball in the back of the net. I think we did a much better job of creating attacking opportunities and playing aggressively in the final third, and I think we scored a lot of goals.
You have talked about building for the future and getting your system in and recruiting to the right players to build what you want. And you feel like, as I talked to you before games, I feel like you think you're making that progress in the right step, in the right direction.
Yeah. Definitely. I think this year was a lot about our growth as a family and as a program. And I think when you have players that naturally do what you want them to without really having to ask them to change their natural tendencies as a player. It just creates happiness, right? It's more enjoyable to play the game that way. And I think it leads to having more fun on the field, right? And so I think culturally there was a step up. I think we came back from being down a couple of times. I think we saw out some tough, gritty games that we wouldn't have in years past. And I think there was a lot of growth this year.
We saw Mika Iakono really have a good season, 3 game-winning goals. She was really your scoring leader.
Yeah, I think Mika took a couple opportunities on set pieces, scored a couple really important goals for herself. But I think those are all a product of all the players that were around her also, right? Like you can't score a goal 1 on 11, right? So it takes the players around you to really set you up for success. But credit to Mika, and a lot of different people scored a lot of goals for us this season. But Mika was certainly a really important family member.
We look at the 8 seniors that are on your roster. Katie Schaefer, 4-year starter, great defender on the back line, just brought you so much, had some goals as well. That's the thing about college soccer. You're not going to be able to replace people. I mean, she's a valuable longtime great at EKU.
Yeah, I mean, I think all 8 seniors brought a lot of intentionality, a lot of personality, a lot of selflessness to this family over the last 4 years. And I think it's going to be hard to replace them, right? But I think that's my responsibility and that's our duty. And recruiting the players that we have coming in, we're really excited about the future as well.
And a couple of young ladies coming off knee injuries that you hope will be back as well, new recruits as well. So you're building out for the future. What do you need to focus on? Where do you think the improvement needs to come?
Well, I think not being overwhelmed by the moment, right? Being mature enough, being brave enough, being tough enough that when a conference bid, a championship, regular season championship is on the line, right? Having the guts to kind of get through that moment and continue to stay focused and live in the moment.
The landscape changed this year because of the pandemic. You didn't play in the fall, you played in the spring, and it was a shortened season. Now we go through another landscape change. It gets a little sunnier as you move to the A-Sun. So this is going to be new territory for you. How do you handle the conference change?
Well, I think we look forward to it more than anything. I think being able to compete against teams that win win first round NCAA tournament games, right? Like being able to compete against those teams and really see where we stack up in the country, I think is an excellent opportunity. But I think a lot of it is watching film, preparing, getting our players ready and looking forward to the challenges ahead.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for the look ahead and look back, and can't wait to see you out at the EKU Soccer Field in August.
Thank you.
All right, that's Matt Cosinuke, the soccer coach at Eastern Kentucky. And that does it for another edition of Inside EKU Sports. Like and follow Colonel Athletics by going to all of these social media pages. Until next time, so long and go Big E.